Hello, my name is Daniel Bruce, part of the Capstone 1 team working on the Amlite Research Project here at Florida International University. Now this is the final video in this series where we go over things we could have wished to expand implementation on and or actually implement. Now since senior project has been split into two classes, Capstone 1 and Capstone 2, there's going to be additional points in Capstone 2, but I'm going to go over what we have so far. So first things first, for our uncaught exception handler, we could extend or expand upon the implementation of where the log file is stored. Right now we have it being stored where the Kaitos D and controller classes are, and this is not efficient, not appropriate. It should be stored in our virtual environment, maybe possibly where the Kaitos configuration file is, or even in that same directory we can create a log directory and place the log there, or go into the existing logs directory and place it there. We didn't have enough time towards the end of that sprint to go ahead and expand upon that, so that's one thing we could do in Capstone 2 real quick before we start some serious development in Capstone 2. Excuse me. Second, for our third user story, which deals with implementing two new functions in Python OpenFlow, if I'm not mistaken, because there's two repos that kind of collided that has similar issues. Okay, yes, it is in Python OpenFlow. So for user story 3, there was two new functions that kind of needed to be implemented. The issue with this is when we got into contact with the Kaitos developers, there were multiple issues linked to that issue, and even the developers were confused on kind of how to go about solving this issue or implementing these functions. Another issue with this open issue on OpenFlow is it's been open for 2.5 years. It seems it may have been forgotten in a sense, and it's just been recently brought up by our development team. So the developers looked more into it. There's multiple issues linked to that issue, and unfortunately the issue went way bigger than expected, and we were told by the Kaitos developers that they will get back to us when they figure out what's going on, how to go about solving this issue and implementing these two functions. So while the main issue was to discuss where we can implement these two functions, which we did a lot of discussion with the developers, we do wish sometime in Capstone 2 we could implement these functions and actually solve and close this issue on OpenFlow. For our third and final point, for the minimum size test in OpenFlow, we wish to expand upon our implementation. Our current implementation could result in inaccurate test results with the way we implemented it. We showcased our work to the Kaitos developers. There was no additional feedback. The temporary solution does work, but we wish to kind of expand upon this implementation so we can guarantee that the tests are not skipped, which there's only 2 tests that were being skipped, but it can provide accurate test results, whether it passes or it fails. So those are things we wish to expand upon or actually implement. This is our wish list for Capstone 1 development. There will be additional points in Capstone 2 development. Thank you for watching.